and also for future generations.
Alright, so there's many things that you can do to help reduce, I guess, the impact that we have on the environment, and everything you do will make some sort of an impact on our Earth. So I guess over time they will add up and become large impacts. Does anybody have any ideas on how we could, or some ways that you could be environmentally conscious?
Recycle.
Definitely.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just feel free to shout about
Recycle.
I don't know if you heard it. Anyone else?
Turn the water off in your brush your teeth. Put it down.
Yeah.
Turn your lights off. Anybody else?
Unplug your appliances.
Shorter showers.
Yeah. All these things that you guys said when we talked about the presentation today, so things that you can do to reduce the waste of transportation is, I guess, carpool, walk, bike, I guess anything that doesn't have anything to do with oil or using a motor. Transportation, like vehicles, is the cost of 1/3 of America's like global warming impact. Things that you can do to reduce this is use a Stout ride board, which is a program in which you can pair up with just a random person in your area and you can get a ride home with them. If you're looking for a ride back to your hometown. Also, the Mallory bus route, it's free for all UW-Stout students, and the schedule's in your orientation guide. And there's also a winter route, which is just going to pick you up basically in front of your dorm and bring you to where you need to be around campus. Conserving water is also really, really good. Turn off the water when you brush your teeth. This will save probably about a gallon every time, as well as reducing your showers by the time of 2 minutes. They'll, I guess, take out at least 10 gallons of water every time. And just avoid using bottled, like plastic bottled water in general. This takes just 3 liters of water to make 1 bottle. It can only store 1 liter of water, so it's basically pointless to use those. You have the choice to use like reusable bottles.
Another way to be sustainable is conserving energy. And like some of you guys had said before and shouted out, turning off your lights, unplugging your appliances. So, I think one of the simplest ways to go about this is just by simply turning off your lights. Even when you're in your dorm, obviously like when you leave for class, but even if you're just going over to a friend's dorm to maybe like grab some pencils or chat with them and you're thinking, oh, it's just going to be like 5 minutes, it'll be fine. Usually that chat turns into like a 2-hour conversation. So you really want to make sure just to turn off your lights whenever you leave your dorm. Also to replace the old style light bulbs with more energy efficient CFLs. Each one of these light bulbs saves approximately 150 pounds of carbon dioxide a year. And the great thing about being on Stout campus is that you can just go to the front desk and they'll give you these light bulbs for free. So you don't even have to worry about spending the money on them. Also, you can wash your clothes in cold water. This saves about 100,000 barrels of oil per day. And it'll also keep your clothes looking nice because then you're not worrying about your colors fading. You could also choose to eliminate phantom loads. Does anyone know what a phantom load is?
The load going through an outlet when it's not being used. Like
Yep.
it's sitting there ready to be used, but it's never actually active unless you use it.
Yeah, awesome. So it's any device that requires resetting after a blackout or power surge. And 75% of electricity used to power home electronics is consumed while the products are turned off. So just as a reminder, always remember to unplug your computers, your printers, your chargers, and especially your cell phone chargers because those will take up the most energy. So like after you're done charging, don't just leave it hanging in the wall. You can also choose to eat green. One of the ways that you can do this is to eat lower on the food chain. And I'm not necessarily saying that you have to go to one extreme of being like vegan and vegetarian, but when you're at the Stout dining services and you're thinking, you know, oh, you're just automatically going to get a hamburger, maybe stop and say, no, I'm going to get fish instead, or I'm going to get a black bean burger, or something like that. Even if you don't think that you necessarily want to eat lower on the food chain, just make sure that whenever you do buy meat, you buy grass-fed, local, organic, reasons why a grass-fed meat is better than a corn product meat, or like corn-fed beef or meat products like that, is because it's easier, the grass is easier on the animal's digestive system, and then you're not consuming the corn as well. Also with the whole local factor, it just cuts down on transportation costs. You know, if you're getting meat all the way from Texas, that takes up a lot of mileage. So if you're getting local meat from Wisconsin or Minnesota, you might even know the farmer, or you might know their farming practices. You can also use reusable utensils. It really gets to be pretty costly when you go to Walmart every week to buy paper plates and plastic silverware. You'll notice that happens. So you should just, you know, go to a store and buy silverware, or even go to Goodwill and just buy silverware that was donated. And you can easily just wash them in your sinks in the dorms. You can also choose to buy fair trade and organic food. Does anyone know what fair trade and organic means exactly?
Fair trade is like the farmers are actually getting paid minimum wage per se, so that they're not like Colombian farmers making like 2 cents an hour.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good definition. So basically what she said, and you know, they're getting paid, they're not working under horrible conditions, things like that. You know, they're getting their breaks, and it's really good to pay a recognition to the farmers. Usually you'll see the fair trade logo on commodities like bananas, chocolate, and coffee. Does anyone know like the broad definition of organic by chance?
That no pesticides are used.
So yeah, the broad definition is no pesticides, herbicides, or any kind of runoff irrigation. And when you buy a product that's organic, you really want to make sure that it has that stamp of approval by the USDA. A lot of the time, companies are kind of hopping on this go green bandwagon, and they'll often put that things are organic or natural when really they're not. So you really want to make sure that that's certified organic. You can also eat local. We have a really great farmers market here in Menominee by the state fairgrounds, and it's open every Wednesday from, I think, 1 to 6, and then Saturdays from 9 to 2. You can also choose to eat at the Menominee Market Food Co-op. It's just right up by the Mabel Tainter in downtown Menominee. They do a wide variety of like local and organic cheese, meat, produce, snack foods, things like that, pasta. So it would be great.
Aren't they trying to move that farmer's market closer to campus?
There was some talk about that, and they were trying to do some mini markets on campus. And I think they're still kind of working with the university to do that. So I think maybe we'll hear about it more this year.
Basically, everything that can be littered will be littered. Things like cigarette butts, wrappers, plastic caps, anything basically will flow into the storm drains in town, and they'll bring it to the Red Cedar River, which will eventually bring it to the ocean. So you could just, I guess if you're thinking about just throwing it on the ground, you might as well carry it just a few more feet to the recycling bins and trash cans around the city, because they're basically everywhere. Does anybody have any ideas on how you can reduce your waste? Here's some nice hints. Anybody else? Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Just, I guess, buy products that are made from recyclable packaging, or just made from recyclable materials.
Like food too, you can buy like, instead of buying like a can of pineapple, you can buy a pineapple and do it yourself.
Yeah.
So you have natural decomposable waste instead of the plastic container.
And a lot of the time, it will be cheaper because then you're not paying for the packaging, and like you're not paying for the brand name, Dole, things like that. So.
Last year, Stout and Green Sense started a campaign called I Love Tap Water, and you can find it in like the school bookstore, the counties and whatnot. And that's basically like imprinted on like these reusable bottles, and it's just encouraging students to, I guess, use reusable bottles and stop like buying plastic water bottles and just drink tap water in general.
In our dorms, they also have water fountains where you can just like set your water fountain on.
Oh Oh, yeah,
Those
definitely.
are
They just put those in this year, because like my freshman year, they didn't have those, it's they're
That's
forever.
really nice.
12 months.
Yeah.
Fall.
Using reusable containers and bags, like the picture you can see here. Some stores, they'll give you a discount if you use those, like, it's not much, but it's still there. It's like, at Walmart, I think it's like 15 cents every time you bring a reusable bag. And that will add up over time, and I guess save you quite a bit of money. And buy in bulk. You can do this at the Menominee Co-op, and just saves you a lot of money and reduces packaging by a lot. Posting at Stout has gone a really long way in the past few years. All the packaging that we use for takeout food and stuff in the Commons and Mini Mart and wherever, they use reusable or compostable packaging. Like you can see in that picture there. The takeout packages are made from like plants and oils, as well as the utensils, straws, and cups. So these are all brought to the, and the food as well, brought to the Veolia Environmental Service Center in Eau Claire. And Stout has been talking about getting a composting system for the past few years, and I'm not really sure when it's going to happen, but the idea is definitely there. Recycling provides many jobs in the U.S., like it's manufacturing jobs. It reduces the need for landfilling and incineration. It prevents pollution caused by virgin companies and materials. It saves a lot of energy, and it conserves natural materials like timber, water, and other minerals.
So you guys are probably wondering, how exactly do I recycle at Stout? How many of you recycled at your hometown or in your home? Okay, so almost the majority of you. When I came here, and you're probably thinking too, like, well, I know how to recycle. I've been doing it for a really long time. The fact of the matter is that it's actually it varies from county to county. I kind of noticed that when I moved here from Minnesota to Wisconsin, that the different things that you can and cannot recycle really vary. So we're just going to go over them so you guys know what you can recycle in Dunn County. First of all, when you move into your dorms, you'll see two trash bins, and technically one of them is for recycling, but if you and your roommate want your own trash cans, that's totally fine. Just make sure that you have like a milk crate or maybe a cardboard box that you can collect all your recyclables in. Also remember to rinse out your bottle cans and jars. You know, you feel kind of bad for the recycling people when there's like a ton of rotten or moldy food, you know, stinky stuff in there, and then they have to clean it out. So just remember to rinse it out before you put it in your recycle bin. This is pretty much the official list of what you can recycle in Dunn County. With plastic, it can kind of get confusing, but the ground rule to remember is just you can recycle numbers 1 and 2 here at Stout, and you really want to make sure too that the plastic that you're recycling has the lip on it like this. You know, if it's going to be anything like a yogurt container with the wide mouth, you can't recycle that here. You can also do batteries, glass, mixed paper, magazines, etc. So after you collect all of your recyclables in your dorm, you can there's basically like a trash center at each dorm hall, and you just bring them out where you would your trash, and you'll see these bins, and they're all going to be clearly labeled, you know, glass, aluminum, paper, etc. And you basically just have to sort through it and put it in the bin. It's really quite simple once you get the hang of it. So
Lots of stuff is not recyclable. You can see all these mistakes when you go into the recycling bins in your dorm area. Things like beer and pop cartons, styrofoam, plastic bags, prescription vials, frozen food boxes, plastic yogurt and dairy containers labeled 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and wax cartons. If you do go into the dorm recycling areas and you do find these things, you can just grab them and throw them in the garbage, because typically things like, oh, this is not gross, and I know it's really easy just to move it over, and it'll save a lot of time for everybody that has to move it themselves. And if you don't do that, as you can see in this picture here, all this stuff, those are cubes of recycled materials, and if they are contaminated by non-recycled materials, the cubes are basically put to waste. They can't be sold, and that just kind of wastes time and money for the employees, the companies.
So we have a recycling activity today. Can we get 2 brave volunteers to come up front? It'll be fun. I
I'll
promise.
do it.
Cool.
No.
What's your name, by the way?
I'm Robbie.
Nice to meet you. Anybody else want
I'll
to?
do it.
Cool. What's your name, by the way?
Holly.
Okay. So basically, how we're gonna play the game is you guys have to pick 3 of these trash materials up, say what they are, ask the crowd if they're recyclable or not, and the crowd's gonna shout out yes or no. So we need some audience participation, and then you guys have to come up with a way that you could reuse it, even if it was recyclable, so you wouldn't have to like throw it out on the first use basis. Give it a try.
This is a pop bottle.
Yes. Actually, we just found out that technically it is recyclable because it is a 1 or 2 plastic, but you want to make sure to take the top off. So,
You could reuse this and make it one of those little samples. Organic peanut butter container.
yes. Well, it's got stuff in it, but it's also the wide mouth, and read the, I think you can see the number on the bottom.
Thought we want to use it for your home, like if you like have leftovers or something. A piece of cardboard.
Yes.
You could use it as like